Fantasy Plus, we're back. It's been a couple weeks, but it's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to kind of wing this episode. Phil Pinarski's joining me. Jack Doles. We're talking Week 12, guys. How'd your weeks go?
Great. Winning, you know what? I know we've been out of the loop here a little bit with Fantasy Plus, but I mean, I'm on a 5-game winning streak right now. It's been looking pretty good for your boy Phil right now.
I had the second most points in the league last week, and I played the guy with the most points in the league. So would have beaten everybody except for, of course, it happened to be Alex. So tough week, tough year. It's almost over.
The pain is almost over for
Trying to avoid getting relegated right now.
Yeah. So Phil's the hottest team in our league, and there's some hot teams out there. We had a lot of big matchups, but there are a lot of players that you would think would have good weeks last week just didn't. You know, we had the big Tampa Bay and Buffalo game, and where did the points go in that game? A lot of players under 10 points.
Not Josh Allen.
Not Josh Allen.
He had a great week.
Right.
It still wasn't enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Abuka had under 10 points.
Yeah.
Unless you had Tucker. I had Tucker on my bench, and I was facing Tucker. So I had one of those weeks, kind of like what Jack was talking about.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been a couple weeks, but let's get into the Thursday night preview. Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans in Houston. Bills coming off that huge win. They're chasing the Patriots.
Who would have thought, right?
I know.
Going
Crazy
into the
to
year.
think. You know, and it'll be interesting to see this because Buffalo, they haven't been really consistent. They're 7-3, but we haven't seen a Buffalo team that you think, yeah, that's a Super Bowl winner right there. They've got some serious flaws. Receivers aren't that great. Josh Allen's putting a lot on his shoulders. You know, 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns last week. And this Texans defense is still legit. They've got Davis Mills starting at quarterback this week. Somebody you might be able to pick off a waiver wire against the Buffalo defense that isn't great. But this is a crucial game for both these teams. If the Bills want to win that division and get that home field advantage, which in Buffalo would be huge, they need this game. And the Texans fighting for a playoff spot, they need this game as well. So it should be a good one.
Yeah. No, I mean, from the Houston perspective, Jack touched on it, the defense is still looking really good. I mean, I've had them on my fantasy team personally, and they've been very helpful for me. But it's just nice watching a team that really does kind of put an emphasis on tackling specifically. So really like what the Houston Texans have been doing on the defensive side of the ball. But again, with Buffalo, yeah, we're still waiting on them to really seem like Super Bowl contenders again. I feel like it's kind of like what we saw a few years ago with Josh Allen, where the whole offense is run through him. And we've seen James Cook be really good. You think maybe they would utilize him, or the receiving core, you know, you'd think that they would be helping him out a little bit more. But again, I feel like the Bills, it's just kind of back to where they've been for the past couple of years and really struggling with that. I am excited for this Thursday night game. I feel like we really haven't had a good Thursday night in at least the past couple of weeks.
The Texans defense is going to keep them in this game, and Josh is going to spread the ball around like he has been. So are there any pieces of this game that you're definitely starting this week?
Josh Allen. That's probably about it, honestly. I mean, there's just too many unknowns. I wouldn't want to maybe start a guy and then Josh Allen's looking the complete other way, or the offense is going the complete other way. Maybe they find success running the ball, and then none of the receivers are getting any points. Maybe they decide that passing the ball is the best way to attack this defense, and then James Cook's not getting the ball. So outside of Josh Allen, it's really
James Cook's on my team. He's in my starting lineup every week, no matter what. Because he's one of the best backs in the league right now. Absolutely. But so it doesn't matter what's going on with Buffalo. James Cook's going to get some carries, maybe not as many as a fantasy owner would like, but he's definitely a guy you'd want in your lineup each week.
Yeah, they've been splitting between Ray Davis and Ty Johnson, so it's hard to keep track of. But you know you're safe with Cook. A lot of games that seems to be in fair weather places this week, but we'll see if weather is going to play a factor in our Week 12 games. Let's check in with Scott Larson with your fantasy forecast.
Week 12 of the NFL season is here, and that means we're just a week away now from Thanksgiving, also one of the biggest football holidays of the year. Here are some of the teams on their bye week: the Denver Broncos, the Los Angeles Chargers, Miami Dolphins, and Washington Commanders. So if you've been leaning on Justin Herbert or Devon Achane, probably have to go to the waiver wire and find some replacements. Here's a look at how we start things off Thursday night. The Bills and Josh Allen are going to be facing off against the Houston Texans. They're still without C.J. Stroud. He is in the concussion protocol. Now, usually they keep the roof closed there on NRG Stadium in Houston, and for good reason this time. They have some showers expected, a temperature in the mid-70s, but usually they do keep the roof closed to keep in that crowd noise and make it more difficult on the opposing team. Here's a look at some of the other matchups going through the early games on Sunday. You can see that we're going to have some fairly nice conditions for most of those games. In fact, the only game that has a temperature below 50 at kickoff is expected to be between the Vikings and the Packers. Heading into the afternoon slate of games, all of those are taking place indoors, so it's unlikely that there will be any sort of external impact. Taking a look at the Monday night game between the Panthers and the 49ers, a temperature in the mid-50s and a partly cloudy sky.
All right, thanks, Scott. Now on to the rest of the Week 12 schedule. We don't have any more international games. We had the last one last week, so it's all 1 o'clock and the normal slates at 4 and Sunday night, Monday night. First up, Pittsburgh, Chicago. Pittsburgh 6-4, Chicago 7-3, Chicago favored by 3.
The first place Chicago Bears.
Right.
Jack, you're already smiling.
I just
They're
can't
so-
believe it. I can't believe it. It's just been Ben Johnson magic. We're seeing Detroit is missing. But the Chicago Bears against Pittsburgh, I can't wait to see how they handle this defense. Pittsburgh, history would tell you this is about the time of year where they start to collapse a little bit. Pittsburgh also has the owner of the Chicago Bears, self-proclaimed owner, and Aaron Rodgers broke his wrist last week. So he says he may play. This feels like a week where the Chicago Bears put a number on the Pittsburgh Steelers. At least the Bears defense should be up to snuff against the Pittsburgh offense that hasn't looked great. And now Rodgers might be playing with one hand. I think you're going to see, if he's in there, that Chicago pass rush is going to get after Rodgers. Probably a couple late hits. Nobody in Chicago likes Aaron Rodgers. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Chicago Bears in this matchup just in general, but again, I mean, I would avoid all Steelers in this case, especially if Rodgers isn't going to play, because I do not trust Mason Rudolph at all, and I don't think anybody in Pittsburgh Nation does either. So yeah, I'm going to stay away from really almost any Steelers in this one.
Yeah, but Caleb Williams is really coming around.
Right.
I trust him as my starting quarterback now, especially if you don't have any other options. Monungai, we've seen Swift. If you're deep into the, like I am right now, where you were
Like we all are,
desperate
Jack.
and you grabbed him, I'm a little more comfortable playing him now. But DeAndre Swift has been playing pretty well when he's in there and healthy enough. It's been hit or miss with a lot of the Bears receivers and their tight ends. They've got a lot of weapons, but they're spreading them out from week to week. So there's really nobody from Chicago, except for maybe Williams, that you could just point and go, yeah, he's going to produce for me every week. But if I've got Roma Dunze, I'm still going to play him each week.
Right.
All right, next up, we got New England 9-2, Cincinnati 3-7. New England favored by 8.
I mean, you're starting, again, against that really bad Bengals defense. You're going to start Drake May. You're probably starting the receivers if you've got them, like Stephon Diggs. You're definitely starting Henderson if you've got him as well, because there's just no backbone to this Bengals defense. I think New England's going to run away with it. I will say, though, on the Bengals side of things, it might be a big day for T. Higgins. We know Jamar Chase is going to be missing that game due to a suspension. So it's either going to be a big day for T. Higgins, or they're going to, New England's going to be doubling him up, and then probably a terrible day for me and T. Higgins owners across America.
I keep waiting for New England to be what we've seen. I have a hard time believing they are what their record says they are. But I don't think this is the week where suddenly we see a different New England Patriot team. I think the Bengals are now just kind of, the way they what they did last week and what you saw, the frustration out of Jamar Chase, I think we can officially write the obituary on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right. Next up, we got the Giants 2-9, Detroit 6-4, Ford Field. Detroit favored by 10.5.
Yeah, I would play every Detroit Lion on my roster right now. I think you're going to see the Detroit team we saw 2 weeks ago. They're back indoors. Now, all of a sudden, they're not in the playoffs, and they need some wins. They need to string some wins together. Here's food for thought. The next outdoor game that the Lions play will be in the final week of the season against the Chicago Bears. That's it. Every other game is going to be indoors, and they're very comfortable indoors on fast turf where their speed really helps them. So they're not going to deal with weather or high winds. But if they don't fix the interior of that offensive line and fix it soon, there's going to be a problem. It just won't be this week against this Giants team.
Right.
But don't overreact to what we saw in the last week's game just because.
But it's got to start being a little concerning in the big picture.
Right.
Because that's 2 out of 3 weeks where the Detroit Lions offense has had holes on the offensive line. Jared Goff has been pressured and has not been the precise Jared Goff that we see when he's got time to throw. So they've got to fix that, and they've got to fix it very soon. But again, I think it'll be good enough for this week. I think I've proclaimed some teams that have been done already, like Miami a few weeks ago.
Right.
Maybe I was wrong, but I just don't see the Giants giving the Lions much of a fight. And Amon-Ra St. Brown had a horrible week. They're going to make sure he doesn't have another horrible week. Jameson Williams is starting to come around. Much happier using him in my lineup these days. Jamar Gibbs should have been my number 1 pick in the draft instead of Bijan Robinson. There's a lot to like about this Lion team.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of echo what Jack just said. You're starting all your Lions. Obviously, this is a get-right game for them because, you don't see the Lions score only 9 points multiple weeks in a row. I think they have a huge week. I mean, it could be kind of like what we saw 2 weeks ago against the Commanders where the offense is just running on all cylinders. It's exploding all across the field. So, I think, again, kind of echoing what Jack said, Lions definitely start. Giants, don't even bother.
This feels like a 40-point, maybe even a 50 burger.
Yes.
We'll see.
That would be great, honestly.
Next up, 2 teams that are kind of struggling right now. Minnesota 4-6, Green Bay 6-3-1. Green Bay favored by 6.5.
Yeah, this is another game that I'm kind of staying away from. I just don't like Green Bay's offense right now. And I really don't like Minnesota's offense. I know they've shown flashes, but still, there's something weird going on in Minnesota on the offensive side of the ball. Don't know if I trust J.J. McCarthy all that much. Obviously, you're going to start Justin Jefferson if you have him. You're probably going to start Josh Jacobs if you had him, but would not be surprised if this is a very low-scoring game carried by the defenses.
I'm not sure Josh Jacobs is going to be able to play. He got hurt last week. So, Aaron, the guy that came in, and I tried to
Emmanuel Wilson.
Emmanuel Wilson might be a guy to pick up on waivers right now. The Minnesota is kind of a mess right now. J.J. McCarthy is not a good quarterback. He's really played one good game and one good quarter as an NFL starter. Now, he's only started, 5 games?
Right.
So it's too early for them to kick the ball, move on to their next quarterback. But he's got to start showing some development. Green Bay, I'm not buying them at all. Not because I'm a Bear fan or a Lion fan, but I just don't see a lot to like right now. Jordan Love seems to have regressed a little bit.
Right.
The 2 I would definitely start would be Justin Jefferson, no matter what, and the Green Bay defense.
Yep.
Because that offense is struggling.
Hawkinson could be a pretty good play, too.
Absolutely.
Important play. Green Bay, boy, do they miss their tight end.
Yes. Yeah, Tucker Kraft.
Yeah.
My Seahawks 7-3 against the Titans 1-9. We coming off a tough loss to the Rams. Seattle's favored by 13.5.
Boy, that's a lot of points to give a team that's got to travel from the West Coast on the road for a 1 o'clock kickoff. I feel bad for Tennessee for having to play Seattle this week. I think Seattle is going to be really primed up. I think Sam Darnold is going to feel like he owes his team one after 4 picks. Tennessee's a mess. I just don't know who to play on that Seattle team other than Jackson
Smith and
Jigma.
Yeah.
The running backs, you just don't get any consistency from one or the other.
Right.
And Darnold, if you have 2 quarterbacks and you're not sure, I wouldn't let last week affect me negatively because I think he'll bounce back this week.
Right.
Well, I'll say this. Obviously, you're starting all your Seahawks. You're not probably playing any Tennessee Titans. I don't know which Titans players you've got on your team right now. But I will say, as far as Seattle goes, one guy I do like is Kenneth Walker. He's returning back to his home state. Fun fact, him and I actually went to the same high school. So I think he's going to have kind of a big homecoming. I'm excited for it. I think he's going to have a really good game.
All right, moving on. The Colts are back. For anybody who had Jonathan Taylor or Tyler Warren, that they had to go without him for a week, they're back, but they get to face the Kansas City Chiefs. 8-2 Colts, 5-5 Chiefs. Kansas City favored by 3.5.
I cannot believe we're sitting here talking about Kansas City and an absolute must-win game.
Yeah.
In danger of going 5-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I've got any of those Colts players, this might not be a great week to play them, but I'm riding those guys because, boy, they're having a great year, especially Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say this about Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if you bench him against this Kansas City defense, but you're probably going to see maybe a little bit of a dip in production because that Kansas City, especially that front seven, I mean, it's as good as anybody else in the league. I think they're going to, and again, kind of focus in on that, maybe force Daniel Jones to throw a little bit more. So if you've got guys like Pierce and, again, Warren, some of the top targets for Daniel Jones, that might be your best bet.
Kansas City will treat this like it's an AFC championship game. They have to.
Last game of the 1 o'clock window, we got the Jets. They are 2-8. Baltimore 5-5. Baltimore favored by 13.5.
That should be 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is back, and now they smell it, they sniff it, because they're not far behind Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh will melt here, I feel. And now all of a sudden, things are right in Baltimore. You didn't think that this could last. This will be a big week for Lamar. Now he doesn't have to deal with Quinnen Williams. He's going to deal with whatever else they have left there.
Right.
Yeah, Lamar's the big guy. If I had him, I'd expect a big week out of him this week.
Yeah, him and Derrick Henry, too. I mean, the one bright spot on that Jets defense, I guess the two bright spots were Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. Well, they're both gone now, so I think it's going to be free reign for the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday.
Maybe Andrews at tight end as well.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? Let's take a break and let's reset and do the rest of the Sunday and Monday window. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, Fantasy Plus. We're going through the Week 12 schedule. We talked about the 1 o'clock games. We've got the Cleveland Browns, 2-8. Las Vegas Raiders, 2-8.
Somebody has to win this game,
Somebody
right?
has to win this game. Phil, the Raiders are favored by 3.5.
No, they're not. That's
Yes.
a lie. There's no way.
Yes.
I mean, I guess that with the news that Shedeur Sanders is starting, I guess that, what everybody saw in that limited time last week and kind of the fact that they started Dylan Gabriel over him, they don't have a whole lot of faith in him. This Raiders defense is not the defense to test that out against. They are going to give up everything on Sunday. So even if Shedeur has a good game, obviously more time will tell. I could see him having a really good game against this Raiders defense, but could also see the Raiders offense, which has been pedestrian at best. I mean, Ashton Jeanty, who's maybe the one bright spot, he's got to go up against this front seven for the Cleveland Browns. I don't think he's going to be able to do a whole lot with that. This is just going to be a really boring, bad game. I don't have anybody that I would start, and honestly, I would stay away from Jeanty.
Has he been a bright spot for anybody? Because I've got him on one of my teams.
He had a couple of good games earlier in the year.
Okay games. I mean, we haven't seen one of those weeks where you said, that guy should have been taken that
He's
high.
not giving you the RB1 numbers.
No.
that you
No,
expect.
not.
Yeah.
I would say if you were ever going to play the Raiders defense, this would be the week.
Okay.
Max Crosby's going to get after Shedeur.
Yep.
Who are they going to go to if Shedeur gets hurt?
Right.
Also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Cleveland's
Wildcat.
probably wing T.
Yeah. Let's move on to Jacksonville 6-4, Arizona 3-7. Jacksonville on the road, favored by 2.5. Jacoby Brissett, another game.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to throw the ball a lot. We know that. I don't know how many will get caught by any of those receivers for the Cardinals. Again, not a whole lot to say with this game. I do like Travis Etienne in this game. He's been putting together a couple of really good weeks over the past month or two right now. So that's about it, honestly, from this game for me.
Yeah, still waiting for Trevor Lawrence to look like the quarterback that he was supposed to be. 11 touchdowns, 8 picks this year. not exactly franchise quarterback numbers. This Arizona team is McBride I've got, and I will ride him as long as he's playing, every time he's playing. So he keeps putting up production on a team that does not produce much.
Next up, Eagles are 8-2, facing Dallas 4-5-1, Philly by 3.5. That's the line on that one.
No, I don't believe in Dallas at all, but I will say that
They got 33 last week.
and this Dallas offense is legit. If there's a week where Philly might stub its toe, this might be the one. But I also think that Philly does not want to ever stub its toe against Dallas because they can't stand Dallas.
Right.
So that might be the one game at this hour worth watching, and I'm certain that that's going to be a network. The whole country is going to be getting that game.
Yeah, 425 on Fox.
425. But, I think Dallas's defense looked a lot better with Quinnen Williams in there. They also got Overstreet back, and so they've got some pieces they were missing. Philadelphia is really good, and they looked fantastic defensively against the Lions. There's still something going on there offensively where it's not working, but maybe this is the week where Barkley breaks out because he's got 2 20-yard gains all year.
Right.
Still waiting for that to happen. When that does, when they get that running game working with Saquon, and maybe they've been kind of slow playing that, keeping him fresh for the playoffs, then if they get that going, boy, Philadelphia's going to be a tough team to beat in the NFC.
Well, and of course, I'm sure the Eagles still remember what happened in Week 1 when Dallas, kind of hung around with them for most of that game. I still think that you starting CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, all those guys. For Philly, though, again, you're kind of relying on that defense to help them win games. The offense still sputtering. I mean, even with that game against Detroit, you saw Detroit, sure, they only scored 9 points. Philadelphia only scored 16. So again, they're still kind of figuring out that offense. I'm not really super confident. They show flashes here and there, but again, I don't know with the rivalry between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I don't know if there's like one guy that's sticking out to me there.
That Philadelphia defense has shut down the Lions and the Packers in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we went from offenses that we really like to maybe offenses that we're not as excited about.
Yeah.
The Falcons and the Saints. The Falcons are 3-7. The Saints are 2-8. Falcons, they've got backup quarterback. Saints, backup quarterback. This game is probably going to get covered up. New Orleans is favored by 1.5 at home.
That's incredible. Now you're going to see Kirk Cousins start.
Yep.
Penix is done for the year.
Yep.
He's having surgery on the knee.
Yeah.
They have some great talent there on both sides of the ball. It just hasn't worked. And, for Cousins right now, this will be huge. Bijan, you play him every week for sure.
I will say I do like the Saints kind of coming off a bye. I mean, I don't really like them, but I do like them against Atlanta. Just dealing with all the turmoil down there in New Orleans right now. I know that they're kind of doing what a lot of teams in fantasy are doing right now. They're trying to play spoiler, especially against a division opponent. I would not be surprised if the Saints did pull off the upset. But again, another game where, you're probably playing Bijan. You're not relying too much on them, I think, in this game.
Moving on to the game I think we're all looking at more. The Bucs and the Rams. Tampa Bay 6-4. Rams 8-2. Rams favored by 7 at home.
Yeah, this is huge for Tampa because they've kind of stumbled of late. We've seen a lot of really good teams that have been stubbing their toe, like the Lions, the Bucs, the Chiefs, the Seahawks. Seahawks only 1 week, but it's like really good teams that are starting to dig themselves into holes. The Rams, they still almost lost that game despite forcing 4 turnovers. Feels to me like Tampa needs to go out there and win a game on the road, a really big one. And if LA doesn't play better, that could happen. Baker Mayfield's going to have to, if I've got him, I know the Rams defense is difficult, but it feels like the magnitude of this game requires Baker to have a really big performance.
Yeah, no, I think, again, a must-win for the Buccaneers to get their season back on track. I think, you're probably safe to play almost anybody on both sides of the offense. I know the defenses, especially the Rams defense, is very good, but I do see this being a shootout. It's Sunday Night Football. Everybody's going to be tuning in. You got a team in the Rams that are looking to kind of, again, cement themselves atop the NFC West. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that are, again, looking to fend off maybe the Panthers in the NFC South and just keep on winning their games as well and kind of get back on track.
But I think Ibuka is, going to be a good play. He's tailed off a little bit the last couple of weeks, but I think he'd be a good play. Hopefully Puka Nacua goes crazy for LA here. He's had a couple of weeks where, the red zone passes seem to be going elsewhere. So
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams especially.
Colby Parkinson, yeah.
Kyron Williams, if I forgot him, I'm playing him as well.
Right, yep. Okay, the last game on the slate, Carolina. If Tampa Bay doesn't win against the Rams, Carolina has a chance to take possession of the NFC South. They're playing the 49ers. Carolina 6-5, 49ers 7-4.
Huge game for Carolina. I think there's still a lot of people that are like, it might be the benefit of a soft schedule. Well, win in San Francisco, and I think they'll make believers out of a lot of people.
Right.
Still haven't gotten great play from their quarterback. Is this how big of a week will this be for their running back?
Right.
Dowdle. We'll see.
Prime time. Yeah.
Yeah, and nice performance last week for San Francisco, especially bringing Brock Purdy back. He was pretty solid. But besides their running back, I still don't know, Christian McCaffrey, who else is the steady go-to guy?
Other than Kittle.
George Kittle.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually scary to me as an NFC West fan that San Francisco's 7-4 with all the injuries that they've had. Phil, any thoughts on that Monday night game?
I was just going to say that the 49ers offense looks so much better, and it makes sense, with Brock Purdy behind center. So I think as long as he's out there, you're probably safe to go with McCaffrey and Kittle and rely on them a little bit more.
We're going to take a quick break and check out our league, see where everybody's standing. It's been a couple weeks. We'll get you caught up, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Fantasy Plus. Week 11 is in the books. Phil is the hottest team in the league with 3 wins.
Who would have thought, right?
Sorry, with 5 in a row.
Yep.
5 in a row after 3 weeks gone by, and Phil's been cruising. Brian beat Cam 81-78. He's first place.
Unbelievable.
Gavin beat the boss. I got a win.
There we go.
I got 100 points. Get to beat out the former champ, Mike. And Dan got another win. He beat Laney. There's the big score you were talking about, Jack. 130, 114.
Yeah. Nice weeks from Josh Allen and Bijan.
Yeah.
Really
Just
nice
what I was
week.
hoping for, but nobody else really stepped up.
Right. When your third score is 10.
Yeah, and my defense, again, was like close to negative points. And again, second highest scoring total in the league that week. And I get smoked.
And then, Phil, you had the a win is a win.
Yeah,
even though you didn't get 100.
that was a very scary game, honestly. I mean, I do feel bad for Matt. I feel like he kind of had to make a lot of substitutions with all the bye weeks. I mean, when your kicker's your top scorer, that's usually spells a loss for that week.
He still had Williams. He had Barkley. It's just Barkley hasn't had a great year.
Yeah.
So here's where it shakes out. We do have one person who's clinched a spot in the playoffs. That's Brian, the Greasy Bobs, are 9-2, top the East there. And we also have one eliminated team there at the bottom.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah, Jack, sorry.
Time to play spoiler.
I just got to try not to get relegated.
Yes. Yeah. Phil's moved up to
Very unfortunate I'm in the East. If I was in the West, I'd be in first place right now.
Because you just beat Matt, so you have the
Exactly.
tiebreaker. Yeah.
Oh, well.
So this week's schedule, Brad and Cam are going to face off. A couple teams trying to turn it around. I'm trying to play spoiler. I play Gavin. Feels like I just played him. Dan trying to cement his spot in the playoffs, taking on the former champ Mike. Jack, there's your game against Laney. And Phil, you get to play Alec.
Hooray.
That's like one of those 4:00 start games this week.
Yeah.
New Orleans and Atlanta.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Jack, Phil. Thanks for coming back. Hope you like some of the new looks, maybe the new look or the new look behind us. We're trying some things. things work a little better.
Or
We'll
the,
see.
the new look. And
Yeah,
the new look,
right.
yeah.
Hey, next time you probably won't see this next week. So we'll see.
we got one more week of this and one
Yeah.
more week of Phil's this. We'll see. Thanks for joining us. Good luck in week 12, and we'll see you next week.